So in ordered list, we learned about attributes of ordered list also, how we can use type, start, reversed, the basic attributes. Yeah. So in this last thing we discussed is lists, how to configure the list, ordered and unordered lists. Right. Next, after defining the ordered list and options, how to manage them, we need to understand about the nested list, how we can use the nested list and work with the nested list. Let's see that how we can use the nested list and configure the nested list. Technically, so the list of numbering and bullets, I will get into our example. Yeah, this is the basic thing we learned. What is an ordered list and what are the tags designed for ordered list? What are the attributes it is having? So important attributes, by using reversed you can reverse, by using start you can define from where the numbering level have to start. Now in this, one more important option is nested ordered list. How to configure nested ordered list, which is very common actually. Nested ordered list is nothing but we can maintain the list in multi-level hierarchy. So for example, so we are designing so web technologies, and here we have an ordered list and the list item, and ordered list, so it has two items, so HTML and JavaScript, or yeah, JavaScript like this. You can see by default, so this is the basic list we have, and the first level we have numbering. I will keep type as Roman letters, and it will give us Roman 1 2. Now under HTML, actually for HTML we want to maintain some more list inside. So if you want a list for HTML, inside this list item you have to maintain an unordered list, an ordered list. This type will be like 1, and here we are having list item like, so normal elements like void elements like this. Similarly, inside JavaScript list item, inside the list item, we have to define another ordered list. This will have list item as some variables and another list item like data types, something. And this also type as 1. Now you can see that this is the nested. That means within the one, so we have the nested. Under that you can have several, but you can give the numbering up to 5 levels, 6 levels only. Why? Because what are the numberings we have? So we can keep the numbering as 1 or A or lowercase. That means only we have 5 numbering styles. That means up to 5 levels only we have numbers. You can add any number of levels, but numbers we have to repeat them again, or we have to use a combination of numbers and symbols. Many times this question comes like if I have several levels, if you have several levels, then either you have to repeat these 5 again and again, or use a combination of numbers and symbols, use different symbols, then it is okay. But there is nothing like there is nothing like limit. There is nothing like limit. You can add any level of numberings. We can configure any level of numberings. So, but the style for numbering will have to repeat because we don't have more than that. So that is one option. So while dealing with the numbering, how we can configure and use it. So if I want some more inside normal elements, then here nested ordered list is nothing but a list item. A list item can have an ordered list within the context. A list item can have an ordered list within the context. That means syntactically it will be like this. So that means ordered list and list item. Inside the list item, so another ordered list. It will have some list item. And this ordered list and the list item finish and the ordered list is finished. So this is a multi-level. That means inside the list item you can maintain another ordered list. That is actually nested. That is technically nested. So that is here we are defining. That means suppose normal elements under this list item another ordered list, and here we define type as A and another list item, and here we are configuring some bold, some font. Similarly, under void elements another ordered list with the type as A, and here we have list item like break. So list item like image like this. Similarly, we need to maintain under variables. So we have ordered list and we have the option type is A and this list item. So we are defining some let and the list item as var, and here we have an ordered list and the list item as number and the list item as string, and this type is defined as A. You can see a multi-level numbering style will come. A multi-level numbering style will be displayed. That is the basic numbering, how we can configure and define. So technically, this is a nested list. And it is nothing complex here. Just within a list item, you have to maintain another list item. So within the list item, you have to maintain another ordered list. You have to configure that. So now when I see the output here, snip, and the output for this, it will be in this way. That means technically this is the basic output for that, right? That is the basic output. I will just give the, and that is what it is going to display. It is going to display. So this is the numbering. So this is how it handles. So nested list, you can maintain a nested list. Now, in many designs, several times, sometimes we need a list to be arranged side by side. We need a list to be arranged side by side. Generally, we need that approach. Just like data list I told you, means many times immediately this question comes because many people immediately will have a question like how to arrange side by side. HTML by default puts everything as its normal format. Anything you want to change, then you have to do it with CSS. So HTML will just present it. You want side by side, you want one below another, so you want some space. All these are CSS only. So styles, you can manage them. So that means that is a regular requirement actually. For example, the regular requirement is, this is example. The regular requirement is when I'm defining. So when I'm defining, so any ordered list. So in this, so we have a list item. And here we have the option like option 1 and the list item like option 2. So we can design forms and define options like option 3 like this. And for example, here, so we are defining some question. So here we are defining a question. That means we have another ordered list. And in this we have a type. And this have a list item saying that so your question, so your question, and here these are the options, your question, and here we defined the type as A. Now this is the actual it is presenting usually. So if I maintain this ordered list, so inside this, that means it will display in this way, A, B, C, D, like that. These are the options for that. That means an ordered list is maintained under this question. Generally, I want this ordered list so to be side by side, arranging the items side by side. Then you can give an ID for this list. ID is a unique reference ID for the list. And we will learn names, IDs, and options we will discuss when we learn CSS and all. We can give an ID, inner like options. Options is an ID. Okay. I want to apply effects to these options. So we will put a style. IDs are accessed by using hash and options. That is the ID. For this ID, what effect you want? We will keep display as flex. Display as flex is flexible display. As flex, it will keep the content side by side. It will keep the content side by side. And technically, we want some space between them. Then what should happen is, in the options, wherever list items are there, that means inside these options, we have to write hash options. In options, so wherever list items are there, space li. That means the list items inside these options should have margin, left margin, some 20 pixels. That means left margin will be 20 pixels. They will arrange side by side. So suppose right margin as 40 pixels. They will be arranged in this way. So we have option 1, option 2, option 3 arranged side by side and some space. Of course, you can change the options. Options is actually this ordered list. For options, display flex and entire options margin left is suppose I defined so minus 10 pixels like this. That means it will move them left side actually. I said minus 50 pixels. That means it will move more left side. You can keep them so more left. Suppose I said minus 80, then you can see it will give more left side. So 50 is enough. So minus 50, then it will be here. Why? Because actually by default they have some margin and you want to still adjust them some more, then you can configure this. Now options is an ordered list. It's displaying flex, means contents are side by side, and a left margin reducing so that it can come just under that question. Similarly, now we have another question to write. Then obviously the same approach we follow. So that means the first in the ordered list. So second, li. This li is the question. That means whatever the question we are configuring, right? Whatever the question we are configuring. That means you say your question. So the question what you define. And inside this, we will use an ordered list. And this ordered list, in the question of the ordered list, we are defining again ID as options, and type as A. It is second question. That means, so your question 2, and suppose this is your question 1, like this, and your question 2. And here again, we have some options to configure. So we define those options here. And that is how it is going to display them. You can add the space between the list items. So these are all the basics that you generally learn in CSS. So as of now with HTML, what is ordered list and how to maintain the ordered list nested, that is enough. I am just talking about the general questions people generally ask. So because they regularly see that type of appearance, but we cannot achieve them without knowing CSS. So to tell that, if you perfectly know CSS, you can do everything that you generally see in a website. So to do that, first you have to learn CSS perfectly. In HTML situation wise, few things we are discussing. We will explore them detailedly in CSS and we can do more better in CSS. As of now, this is not required in HTML, but it's good to know up to this point enough. Several more things you will come across when you learn CSS. Generally, suppose I want a line space between these, space between those list items. Actually, you can define. That means list items. Generally, the ordered list questions. This is an ID. This is an ordered list. Ordered list is having list items. This ordered list, the main ordered list, so contains the main ordered list ID is questions. Questions is the ID. Now I will access that here, hash questions. And for this, inside the questions, we have list items. For list items, I can set margin top. So margin top, some 20 pixel. That means it will adjust the margin for the list items here. Space, it will adjust some space. It depends on how you are configuring and how you want them. But these are all general things you achieve by using CSS. So we don't need to much stress on these points, because these, however you are going to learn in CSS, in HTML, just how to create an ordered list and how to maintain an ordered list with nested and its properties, we have to understand. Changing its appearances, making appear in different styles, all these are the common things. We use this list in so many occasions, and every time we generally present by using a lot of effects. I will show you them. That we do generally with CSS. Initially, so the question here is, so one frequently asked question here is, the frequently asked question here is, how we can arrange the list. That means how to display the list items side by side, how to display the list items side by side, how to display the list items side by side. That is the basic question. And generally we can handle that. So by using display style as flex, by using display style as flex, we can do that. So this is a basic example, a general example for achieving it. So this is the source code of how we can do that, how we can arrange the contents side by side. That is the source code. And another one, the output for this, it is going to display this output, and that is the basic output for that, means how it is going to achieve it. So that is a simple presentation here. The output, how it is going to show that. So that is how it is going to display. So ordered list, that is one point. Another important thing is, you should know that a simple note, you should know that numbering for ordered list so will not continue so it will not continue if you end the list. Numbering for ordered list will not continue if you end the list. So every time the numbering will restart. Every time the numbering will restart. That is the general basic thing you should remember again. For example, what does that mean actually? Generally, sometimes what happens is, we are creating an ordered list with a list item. And here I said some HTML, another list item CSS, another list item JavaScript. Okay. After that, so that means here we defined a heading as technologies. And after that, I just given a heading, continue. Because technologies continued. Because some paragraphs may come in between. So something here, right? Some paragraph may come here. After that, we need to continue. So then again, I am using an ordered list. Again, I am using an ordered list. And when you are using an ordered list and again list item, because that ordered list ends here. And again ordered list. So I defined as jQuery. So like AngularJS, like this. Then usually you will see that the numbering will continue, will reset again. So this is technologies, and technologies continued. We stopped it, and again we created another ordered list. Now usually this ordered list will not continue from the previous. It will not continue from previous. It will be simply like again reset. For example, suppose I want this to continue the above. Then manually you can write like this. So here start with 4. That means it will start with 4 because already 3 are there. Then it will start with 4. So 1, 2, 3 here and 4, 5, 6 here. But that is not good. Why this is not good? Because you manually mentioned where to start. That is not satisfying every time, because generally when you go into this list and add something here, suppose I added bootstrap. Now here the numbering updated, and you can see here 4. Then here it is not continuing from 5. It will reset every time. That means now what we have to do again, we need to change start as. That's how we need to configure. So you need to change this start every time manually. So numbering for ordered list will not continue if you end the list. Every time the numbering will restart. So if you want to continue, then don't end the list. So that means you can define ordered list, ordered list. So continuously. So we can define continuously without ending the list, and can include so paragraphs, headings, or other contents inside OL. That is the approach generally you can do. That means if you want such list to continue, then so you can define ordered list continuously without ending. Means the above ordered list, don't end it. So it is continuing. That means now don't start again, just continue. You put your paragraphs in between if you want. You put your headings in between you want. Just finish the list at the end. In between you can add anything. That means it is not that an ordered list contain only list items. Ordered list is used for maintaining list items, but along with the list items, you can maintain general content also. Now, general content will not be given with the numbering. Only list items are given with the numbering. Ordered list can have normal paragraphs also. In that case, what happens? The list will continue up, and it will stop only when you end it. Now, when I save this, you can see that. So in the output, it is going to do that. Now, whenever I remove something here, suppose I removed bootstrap. And after removing bootstrap, you can see that the numbering will update automatically here. So 1, 2, 3, here it will be 4, 5. Now in between you can add anything. So some contents, some images, some paragraphs. Of course, you want them so to move little bit left side because they are in an ordered list. They have indentation. You want left side, then you can change the margin left. You can shift them. So, but when you need such list which you want to continue, then you can configure. So in this way, that is how we can define, how we can manage. So this is technically, so the example, this is technically the example, how it is going to handle it. So this is an example. So we can maintain a list and we can continue the list with other contents also inside it. So it will not disturb the numbering. It will continue the numbering. If you end the numbering, then again you have to manually start it. But still the problem is when you update any item, then it will not continue that update to the next items in the list. That's the reason always you can follow this technique. So that is how you can manage the ordered list. So while working with ordered list, these are all the general questions. How we can start the list for a specific numbering, how you can have different types of numbering, which you will learn in CSS. Like numbering can be given like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Such type of numbering you can do with CSS, not with HTML. HTML have only these options for ordered list, configuring the list and defining the list. It have only these options. So that is generally how you define the ordered list. This is numbering. Similarly, instead of ordered list, you can maintain a bulleted list. Means we have unordered list, unordered list, unordered list. We have unordered list. We have unordered list. Actually, unordered list is nothing but it is a list of items. It is a list of items. So with bullet symbol, bullet symbol. So it's with a bullet symbol. That means instead of numbering, it can define a symbol, define a symbol. But problem is, so HTML by default provides only three symbols. So like circle, like disk, like square, only three symbols. But generally in websites you see several symbols like hand symbol, star symbol. All such things we can apply with CSS only. HTML cannot display more than these three. It has only these three symbols. So other symbols we have to maintain by using CSS. That's the reason in development CSS becomes one mandatory for presentation, because you can't achieve several things without CSS. And how ordered list is defined. So unordered list is defined by using UL element, and list items are defined by using li element. They are defined by using li element. So list items and unordered list, and so the symbol type is defined by using type attribute, only these options we can have. So there is no other option. So there are no other attributes here. So that means here we can define syntactically like this. So we have unordered list, and in the unordered list we have list item. So that is item 1 and list item close. Similarly, we can add items and close unordered list. Unordered list can have type which can display circle, which can display square, or which can display disk. These are the options we have. And the same as ordered list, you can also maintain a nested unordered list. You can also maintain a mixture of ordered and unordered list also. Generally, unordered list can display only 3 symbols. For example, suppose here I am configuring. Yeah, here I am configuring. So technologies. Okay, just I will keep an UL this time with the list item as HTML. So with the list item as CSS, with list item as JavaScript. Now, once you look at this in the design, it is going to display these symbols. You can change the symbol by using type. So you can say type is equal to circle. So circle will give this symbol. You can change the type to square and it will change the symbol to square. By default, what you see is disk. So disk is the symbol it will display. So you have square. So it is displaying that square. So this is same, but here we have only 3 symbols here. We configured with only 3 symbols and we defined with 3 symbols. So technically, that is the unordered list. So how you configure the unordered list. That means syntactically. So this is just an example how unordered list is defined. And important, it also can have nested list, nested unordered list. Same like ordered list, how you define. So this is the basic example for unordered list. It's a general example for unordered list. So this is the output for that square, how you defined it. That is how it will display. You can have nested. Nested, that means in HTML. So we can have another list item. Here you can have another unordered list. And that have list item as suppose void elements. And another option like normal elements. And for this, we can define type as circle. So we can define the type circle, it will be there. You can maintain a nested, same like ordered list. You can try. Okay. So that is how you configure the list. So here, when you are defining nested list, here also you can go up to 3 levels. You cannot go more than 3 levels of list. You can go up to only 3 levels. You cannot go more than 3 levels here. 3 levels means symbols. You can write any levels, but symbols are only 3 levels. So you have to keep changing between them. Or you can add your own symbols also. So adding our own symbols requires some CSS. So this is example. This is example for how you can keep nested. That means ordered, unordered list. Unordered list can be nested. Same like you have done for the ordered list, it can be nested. and this is an example for the nested. So unordered list also can be nested. So that is similar how we configured. This is nested. So that means unordered list can be nested style. So you can keep them side by side, same the flex display style you can configure and use them here side by side. But the frequently asked question here is how to define a custom bullet symbol. How to define a custom bullet symbol? You can create your own custom bullet symbols. Generally, how we define a custom bullet symbol. So for that, again, you have to depend on styles. So by using list style image, you can define custom image as bullet symbol. Custom image as bullet symbol. You can create your own. You can define custom image as bullet symbol. So by using list style image, we can configure that. Technically, we can do that. So generally, we can put our own configuration. We can define our own configuration and specify that. For that, we need a list style image. We need to configure a list style image. So here I am defining a list style image. So the list style image is how we can keep our own images. Actually, suppose you are configuring the list items. So these are the list items we have. And type cannot have other than those three symbols that you mentioned. By default, you can see that it gets a display symbol in this way. Now, important, you want to keep a symbol, then in the style for unordered list, you can use list style image. You can use a list style image. This image actually uses an URL, image URL from which image you want to display. For example, so we are designing, we need to get some bullet images. We can create images, we can download from online, we can get from third-party sources. Third-party sources like Font Awesomes and all, which I will show you in the next example. We will see them next level, we will see that. And here, suppose bullet symbols means very small symbols we need to create. So we need to change this. I opened a simple MS Paint to create those bullets. And in this MS Paint, I'm adjusting the page size to very small size here. Yeah. And here we are drawing some image like some star. So some image we are drawing here. That means just for temporary sake here, I'm changing the zoom here. Yeah. And here I'm drawing an simple symbol here. And let's just keep a symbol into this, just star. And that is actually the image. This is the image, bullet image. So we have that bullet image. Now this image we want to display. So then we will save this. So into our project location. So into our project location, in the project we have images. In images, we will just keep this as some bullet.png file is there. Different types of files, different types of images, you are going to understand when we start discussing about images. why to use that extension, what is the purpose of extension. Initially, just draw an MS Paint picture and save this. Keep it small size because you are using as bullet. Now here URL is coming from images. From images, we have a bullet.png. That is the image. And you can see that image will come here. We need to keep the height, width relative, the font size also relative. Suppose here I am configuring the font size of the list items as 34 pixels, then it will keep that font size relative. Some 36 pixels, then it will keep the size relative. So this is a bullet symbol, and you are adding new items into it. Another list item is some jQuery, and it will get that and it will display them. So you can add your own symbols, but you have to add through styles. By default, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. So when you are configuring the list, so it is a regular question asked about the list, how you can handle. So how you can handle. So wherever the unordered list is there, in the unordered list, so we are changing the bullet image. This is CSS. When you learn CSS, you will learn several more about list items, how to configure them, means attributes. Here, our intention is to just change the image. For that unordered list, so we are configuring the list style. By default, actually, list style will be circle, disk, square, only 3. We keep a list style image and the URL, and you can apply that. That is the basic thing we are defining here and configuring. So this is a custom image. So that means to do that, first what you have to do is, for this example, you have to create a bullet symbol. So in MS Paint or any editing tool, you can use that. So after that, so save by name some bullet.png. Then configure the bullet symbol. You have to configure the bullet symbol technically for unordered list. Unordered list. We have to configure the bullet symbol for unordered list. How do we do that? So for that, just this code you need to handle. That means for unordered list, we have to define a list style image, and we have to specify that list style image. Technically, we need to configure the list style image. This is important to configure a list item with bullet symbols. You can put a custom symbol, any symbol that you can configure and display, and that will give you this type of appearance. It is going to handle and give this type of appearance for that. General, a simple one. So you have to create a bullet symbol and configure the bullet symbol. Define and configure the bullet symbol here. So that is what we need to manage, right? So that is general thing, how we can use it. So technically, so bullet symbol can be any symbol, so that you can do in several ways. In CSS, you have several symbol options. Through those symbol options also you can manage. And in CSS, you will obviously learn how to handle those. Initially, that is how we can create a custom symbol. Sometimes we have to use an unordered list without symbol, because we need to keep the symbols according to the requirement. Then you have to manually add symbol for every list item. Manually add symbol for every list item. So that means many times, the symbols are not directly defined as list item. So for every list item, different symbols we need. then we have to manually configure them, which we will see regularly in toolbars and combinations. We regularly see that. So for example, suppose means different symbols we want. For every item, different symbol we want. For every item, different symbol, you can't do that. For even odd occurrences, you can do that. For every item, different symbols, you cannot do that. For even occurrence, that means 1, 3, 5, one symbol. And another 2, 4, 6 occurrence, another symbol. Even and odd occurrences, different symbols, you can keep that. That's okay. With CSS, you can do that. You will learn in CSS selectors how to do. So, but every item, different symbols, that's not possible with the CSS. We have to manually add for everyone. Usually you will see that in regular websites, generally list item is having different symbols. Suppose this is very common, but for those symbols, we need to borrow the symbols from third parties. We need to get the symbols from third parties. I will show you how we can get the symbols from the third parties. So what we need to do is, in order to get the symbols, different kinds of symbols from third parties. So how we can integrate? So means here we are integrating and configuring third party symbols. So symbols and icons into HTML. And to do that, there are so many third party symbols, right? We need to integrate and configure third party symbols and icons into. So HTML, so will provide few entities for presenting symbols. Like already we know that. So suppose I define ampersand. We have symbols like ampersand. So we have LT. This is for less than symbol. Ampersand GT. This is for greater than symbol. We can use some symbols, like suppose I am defining here a div. I am writing here, so ampersand. So suppose this is previous. Okay. I am writing here ampersand. So hash. So ampersand. So LAQUO. That is the symbol. And I defined. So here, so another div. So that is, this is previous. And I defined as next. And here I am configuring ampersand RAQUO. These list of entities I will tell you. And you can see that. So those symbols will come here. So previous symbol, next symbol, these symbols will come. So that means previous and next symbols, you can configure them. That means you can define them. These are HTML symbols. HTML provides few symbols, which you can see that. That is how the previous and next options will work. That means here I kept this here. Okay. And that is how the previous and next options are defined here. That's how it works. That means we can configure such symbols. HTML provides only few of them and not all the configuration of entities we have here. It provides only few of them. Technically, it provides only few of them. These are not enough for real world development process. What HTML provides is not enough for real world application development. Then what we have to do is we need to technically go with so third party symbols. So because here only limited are there, so technically limited are there. So example, this is an example. So that is the third party symbols, how you can configure. So technically, this is a simple example. That means how the third party symbols are configured and defined. So that is the third party symbols. This is general HTML. This is not enough for our presentation. These symbols are not enough. You can implement symbols from third party integrations like integrations, third party integrations, like you have third party integrations like Bootstrap, so like Font Awesome. So these are very commonly used. Telerik, Bootstrap, Font Awesome, so many are there. Dev Express, so many will be there. You can implement symbols from third party integrations like Bootstrap and Font Awesome. Using these is very early as of now, but still we will use them. We will see how to handle them and how do we work with them, how we can configure the third party integration for that. So that means how we can get certain symbols and use those symbols in our projects. Actually, these you can start knowing about them in CSS, but in HTML itself, we will start working with them, because once we go into CSS, we can be perfect in that. Once at the time we go into CSS. So let's see how we can integrate that. So one example, we will see how we can integrate symbols from, so symbols and icons from Font Awesome. Awesome. This is very popular. So across the web development, so even Google like people also use this Font Awesome very regularly for symbols, right? It has free and paid sources. We can download the free source and we can use it. Paid source will provide more symbols and icons for you. Free will come with only few options, so that is enough. But at real world development process, they need a lot of symbols and all, then they purchase this and they use those symbols. But for our practice, the normal general free options are enough to handle. How to get this Font Awesome? So actually, this is Font Awesome CSS library. So Font Awesome CSS library will provide you some symbols and icons which you can import and use in your projects. How to use them? So let's see how we can use this Font Awesome. Every day in different examples, we will work with it. Right. So what we have to do is, first we need to visit the official website of Font Awesome. Font Awesome official website we have to visit. And in this Font Awesome official website, you click on Start for Free. Okay. And here you see there is a download option, download Font Awesome. You click on this download, then it will get you the download link. I will directly copy that link here. So in our note here, say first what you have to do. So visit the following URL. So this is the following URL. You visit the following URL. I'm giving the complete URL exactly where you need to go there. So in this location, you see here we have an option. So Font Awesome. And you can see that it says that in the CSS folder, all.css is a file which contains web fonts and style sheets which are required for our symbols actually. So this is enough actually. But later we can use this less Sass and other options also. SVG types and icons and all. You can see icons also present here. In that case, you download this entire library. So download Font Awesome free for web. So you need to click that. So download. So Font Awesome free for web. You have to download Font Awesome free for web, technically. And when I click on that, download Font Awesome free for web, it will actually download a zip file. You can see a zip file is downloaded. And once the zip file is downloaded, what you need to do is extract that zip file. So you can extract the zip file and the folder will come. Go into that extracted folder and copy all the files, means all these subfolders. That means you have to download a zip file. So .zip file, it downloads a zip file, okay. Then extract the zip file, right? And copy all the subfolders like you will see. So CSS, JS, SAS, less, etc. All these subfolders, and go to your project physical path. So physical path, you go to your project physical path, then create a new folder by name fonts, and paste the copied folders into fonts, This is the process. So I copied the extracted folders here. Let's go to our project physical path. It is actually full stack. In that, create a new folder. So, and the folder name fonts. And in the fonts, you paste all these subfolders. So all the subfolders that you have copied. There are several techniques of downloading and installing, which you will get familiar with later stages, right? So initially you do this. Okay, that means for your website development, the symbols are ready. Okay. Now how to use this in your project? So what you have to do is you have to link the following file in every HTML page for symbols. So you have to link the following file. What is the file we have to link? So technically, so you have to use link relation is equal to style sheet. Previously we saw link relation as shortcut icon. This time style sheet href is equal to. So it is in fonts folder. In fonts folder, we have a CSS folder. In the CSS folder, you have a file called all.css. This you have to link. And once you link this to your HTML page, now the symbols are ready. You can start using them. So our project is ready with those symbols. Then here in the head section, we have to link. Link relation is equal to style sheet, and the link href is equal to. So from fonts, we have CSS in that all.css. So once it is linked, now you can use several symbols. But to understand about different symbols, how to use them, actually you should know their class names. CSS will provide class names. So in the beginning days, you can't remember them. So on experience, you will remember different names and options. What you can do every day, if you want symbol, then you can go to this Font Awesome and you search your symbol. Suppose home. When I search for home symbol, and you can see that it will show you the matching symbols here. That means what are the symbols? For home, you have different symbols. Only the highlighted ones are available. Others are paid. You have to pay for them. So these are only free symbols available. We have the free symbols available. Few free symbols. Left side, you can see a lot of categories will be there. And click on this home symbol and you can see that to get that home symbol, So what code you need, it will show you that code. It will display that. That means the class name and options, it will configure and display to get that. Usually I click on that. So then it says that. So wherever you are using, observe here, it is saying that if you want to apply in list item for the, so list item or italic, this is italic. In the italic, you can see this is I for italic. You can use any container, span or div. So it is using a class called FAS and FA home. These are required for that. You can use FAS or FA. You can use FAS or FA. Both options are okay. Generally, how do we do that? Suppose I am creating an ordered list. So, or unordered list now. This time symbols you want, unordered list. So list item. In the list item, I am defining the list item as home. Another list item, so as electronics. And another list item as fashion. So another list item as some footwear. So footwear. So another list item as login. So, and another list item like contact, something. Now, generally, these all are general list items displayed there. So these are all the general list items displayed here. Now, I want to remove these bullet symbols and keep my own symbols there. Then usually, so bullet symbols so are removed by using style. Unordered list, for unordered list style, you can keep as none. That means it will remove the list symbols. List style none will remove the symbols. Those symbols are removed. Now you need to keep the symbol, and it's not like one symbol for all. Every symbol is separate. Now we have to define the symbols here. For that we need a container. So we will keep a span. Why not div? Because div will put a line break. We want side by side. In the span have a class called FA and FA home, that is for home symbol. And another span, so this is having a class as FA and FA TV, that is for some electronics. And we have another class. So here we have a class, and here we have FA. So and FA t-shirt, something like this, fashion. And footwear, I am creating a span, and for that we have a class. You have to search for them, get the names and use them. FA, some shoe prints. So, and we are configuring the symbols and defining the symbols. So here we have a span, and here we are defining the class, and FA and FA, so as user. And here we are configuring the symbol span and class and FA as some address book, some address book or some symbols we are configuring them, right? Now when I save this, so here we saw that, and you see those symbols are available. These are the general basic symbols, how we are configuring them. So technically, so when you are dealing with these symbols, these are the icons, alignments, indentations, you can change them. So initially, so this is the symbols. These are the options defined. So you see here we have different types of symbols, and technically these have a class, and the class it shows FAS and FA home. I already told you, you need to keep listening properly, that we can use FAS or FA for keeping the effects. We can use FA or FAS, right? This is general approach. We can use FA is the base class for all these font awesome options. We can use FA, FAS, these are the options. Now, technically, that is how we can configure the symbols. And we are adding the symbols and we are defining the symbols here. Of course, generally what we do is usually when you are configuring them and here, so display as flex, we configure display as flex. So we have margin left. So this is a unordered list. So for the list items, wherever the list items are there, so we say margin left as 30 pixels, then it will keep all the content side by side. We are arranging the content side by side. And here, so this is using margin left as minus 40 pixels, and it will keep the content like this. We are keeping all the symbols. And wherever the list items are present, we are defining a border as 2 pixels, some solid, and dark cyan. That is the border for that list item. Padding I defined as 2 pixels, so 5 pixels padding. And we defined some background color, so background color as dark cyan for them. And we defined color as white for them. So for the list items we are defining. And we are configuring, so the width for the list item as suppose some 150 pixels. So the width for them, and it should get that and display. So we are defining some border radius as suppose 10 pixels, then it has to get those and display. These are the options. Then we defined text align to center, so it will keep the content to the center. So this is an ordered list only. Generally, you will see buttons, navigations, and options are set side by side and displayed. You can keep side by side, you can display one below another depending on your requirement. Now here the point is, our main concept is how you can arrange the list side by side. How we can configure. Actually, the list item have an option, list item hover. Hover means when mouse pointer is over that list item, we will put background color as black. Background color as black when mouse pointer is over. Then usually when I move the mouse pointer onto it, then it will show that black color so that it says that, okay, it is like highlighting that particular menu item. When the mouse pointer is over, then it will get that symbol and display that symbol. That's how we can configure this. Now here we are using different types of symbols. So different types of icons. And here, so this is unordered list only. So we are keeping the content side by side. We are arranging the information side by side or one below another. So it depends on how you want to display. Suppose I removed the display as flex, then usually it will be in this way. And in that case, for the list items, we can also define margin top as some 20 pixels. Then every list item will be displayed in this way. That is the arranging how you can display. That means we have home, electronics, fashion, footwear, login, contact. So in the line by line order. So that depends on how you want to display the content. So this is the basic approach generally we follow for presenting the content, right? And define the content. You can do everything if you learn CSS perfectly, right? So as of now, just concentrate on what we are learning in the class. That is too much for you at this level. It's enough. Okay. What you are going to learn in CSS, how to do everything you will learn, right? Don't worry. So that without teaching you that, I will not go. All right. So don't get into anything other than what we have learned. What you learned today, that is enough. That is too much actually. Why? Because in HTML, we don't do this all. For this, you need good CSS. But still, we are just integrating CSS occasionally into HTML so that when we go into CSS, we can design more complex examples. That is the reason, right? This is enough at this your level, okay, right? So now once you go further, you can do a lot of things. You can do so many things, right? So initially, our intention is to understand how we can keep the symbols and define the symbols. This is an example of how we can present and configure the symbols, right? So up to this, you try whatever we discussed in the class. Then in the Monday session, we will discuss the other options, how we can work more with the other types of layouts and designs, right? Monday, we will continue with this. Okay. Thank you. I given in the note clearly where to place. So the font awesome library. So if you have seen these notes, right, in the notes I given the points, you follow these points, you will easily handle. Okay. Right.